Once upon a time, there was a woodcutter living in a certain country. Every morning, he would go to the forest with his axe, cut wood, and then take it to the city market to sell. With the money, he would feed his wife and children. One morning, while he was in the forest as usual, a man approached him and said, "My brother, your chopping noise is bothering us. Stop cutting this wood." The woodcutter replied, "How will my wife and children and I eat?" The man said, "I will compensate you for the wood." The woodcutter asked, "What will you compensate me with?" The man said, "I will give you this sheep. One teat yields honey and the other yields milk." The woodcutter agreed, took the sheep, and left. When he reached home, he told his wife the story and instructed her to milk the sheep. She did, and found the man's words to be true. The next morning, the woodcutter gave the sheep to a neighbor to graze with his flock, warning him not to be greedy and take the sheep since one teat yields honey and the other milk. The shepherd said, "I would never do such a thing." However, when he milked the sheep, he found it to be true. He then became greedy, hid the original sheep, and brought a similar sheep in its place. When the woodcutter's wife milked this new sheep, it was ordinary. The woodcutter went to the shepherd to demand his original sheep, but the shepherd insisted that the new one was the original one. The woodcutter complained to the judge, who heard the shepherd's argument that no sheep could yield both milk and honey and dismissed the woodcutter's case. The next day, the woodcutter went back to the forest and continued chopping. The man appeared again and reproached him, saying, "Didn't we agree that you wouldn't return here?" The woodcutter replied, "The sheep you gave me was stolen, so I've returned to my work." The man then gave him a measuring cup, saying, "If you need gold, say, 'Fill with gold,' and it will fill with gold. Be careful not to let it slip away." The woodcutter took the cup, tried it with his wife, and found it to be true. He said to his wife, "Get a box from the neighbors to store the gold until I go to the market and buy containers." His wife went to the neighbor and asked to borrow a box, and the neighbor agreed, but secretly applied glue to the bottom of the box to see what was put inside. When the box was returned, the neighbor found a gold coin stuck to the bottom. She took it to the woodcutter's wife and said, "I found this in the box, it's yours." The woodcutter's wife replied, "Take it, sister, and here's an extra gift." She gave her a bag of gold, saying, "This is an addition, and praise be to God for his abundant blessings." The neighbor then asked where this wealth came from, and the woodcutter's wife told her the story. The next morning, the neighbor came to borrow the measuring cup, promising to use it only for measuring and return it immediately. The neighbor tested it and found it true, but became greedy and replaced it with a similar cup. When the woodcutter and his wife used the new cup, they got nothing. They realized their neighbor had switched it, but felt that complaining was futile. The next morning, the woodcutter returned to the forest and resumed chopping. The man came to him again, and this time gave him a magical plate, saying, "Whatever food you crave, ask for it from this plate, and it will appear immediately." The woodcutter took the plate home, and when he asked for food, it appeared instantly.